The city of brotherly love, the Athens of America, a place that's always sunny. This is where it all began, where a group of white guys got together to scribble on paper to create the country we live in today. But the history doesn't end there. This city would go on to grow its saga through film, sports, and food. Where else in the world can you pick up a sandwich loaded with whiz cheese and grab a glance at a famous piece of cracked metal? Or take a stroll down the oldest residential street in the United States? Finish up that stromboli and get ready to run up those rocky steps, because we're going to Philadelphia. Hey, I'm Jacob and welcome to Destinations Explained, a fun series we do that dives into destinations from around the world. If you watched before, welcome back. And if you're new here, it's great to have you. If you haven't already, like this video, watch till the end, and down below, comment any places we miss. Here we go. First, let's get to know a little bit about the city. Philadelphia obviously has a deep history, so let's just sum it all up into one big greatest hits compilation. If you don't know what we mean by deep history, let us blow the dust off the old elementary school history books and explain. In 1681, the British gave William Penn a large piece of American land to repay a debt that included present-day Pennsylvania and Delaware, which at the time was home to the Lenape Indians. However, Penn and his crew were Quakers and bought the land from the natives, which led to better relations with the tribes and fostered Philadelphia's rapid growth. Benjamin Franklin arrived in 1723 and reinforced the booming city with a fire department, a library, and the American colony's first hospital. Things were looking good until the 1760s, when the British got jealous of the colony's success and attempted to tax them from overseas. But these future Americans said hell no, and the butthurt British floated on over and started a war. The American Revolution began, and the colonies formed the first Continental Congress to draft a petition to tell the British they wanted to see other people. And 2 years later, they passed the Declaration of Independence in Philadelphia to regard themselves no longer under British rule. Things got ugly, but after 8 years of bloodshed and petty finders keepers, the Treaty of Paris was signed, and the United States was finally Facebook official. Well, that's all the time we have for today's history class. Let's continue. Today, Philadelphia is the 6th largest city in the United States, and its metropolitan area encompasses counties in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. The birthplace of America contains 67 National Historic Landmarks and is home to many universities and museums. The city has more outdoor sculptures and murals than any other American city, and Philadelphia's Fairmount Park is the largest landscape urban park in the world. Philly has a population of almost 1.6 million people and over 6 million in the metropolitan area. Summers have an average high temperature of around 87 degrees Fahrenheit to a low average of around 70 degrees Fahrenheit, while winters have an average high temperature of around 44 degrees Fahrenheit to a low average of 31 degrees Fahrenheit. Philadelphia is the first US city in the Northeast we'll be covering in this series because it represents everything that makes this part of the nation amazing. Great food, good people, magnificent architecture, tons of history, and the annual Philly naked bike ride. Anyway, as always, let's start the list with our favorite tourist destinations. Penn's Landing is a waterfront area perfect for tourists and families that spans along the Delaware River from Spring Garden Street to Washington Avenue. This attraction is home to several amenities year-round, like the Independence Seaport Museum, Race Street Pier, and close-up views of famous warships. In the cold seasons, strap up your blades and ice skate the Blue Cross River Rink. Or try our personal favorite, Spruce Street Harbor Park, a must-see staple of Philly, including a beer garden, restaurants, an arcade, colorful hammocks, and plenty more. The park is open late, so stay and admire the sunset and watch the hanging lights from the trees illuminate the park like a vibey outdoor nightclub. You remember that history lesson we just gave you in the beginning that you probably skipped over? Well, how cool would it be to go where that history actually happened? Independence National Historical Park is home to several locations of some of the most important moments in US history. Here, you'll find Independence Hall, the building where some pretty important documents were debated and signed. You may have heard of them. And of course, you need to see the nation's 2,000-pound icon of freedom, the Liberty Bell. You can actually avoid all the BS and get a decent glance of it from outside the building at any time of day. There's plenty more to see, but if we had to recommend one last spot, it would have to be Benjamin Franklin's grave. Pay to enter or get a view from the sidewalk. You may notice pennies layering the marker, thanks to the tens of thousands of people each year who pay tribute to Franklin's famous adage, "A penny saved is a penny earned." No city is complete without some sort of quirky hidden art display, and Philly is home to a gallery space known as Magic Gardens. The Magic Garden spans 3 city lots and includes indoor galleries and a large outdoor labyrinth. The mosaics are made up of everything from handmade tiles to bike wheels, Latin American art to china plates. Mosaic artist Isaiah Zagar purchased the once vacant space in 1994 and over the next 14 years began creating his masterpiece. In 2008, they opened to the public and visitors now have the opportunity to participate in tours, art activities, workshops, and much more. Don't forget to check their website for tickets. And as always, there's lots of helpful links in the description down below. So far, this list is pretty great, but nothing geeks us out more here at Venture Addicts than an outstanding farmers market. And Reading Terminal Market is one to behold. If you could only visit one place in Philadelphia, then this is the spot. Housed since 1893 in a National Historic Landmark building, you'll find locally grown exotic produce, freshly sourced meats and poultry, plus the finest seafood, cheeses, and baked goods in the city. Jacob, I'm visiting for a vacation. Why the hell are you telling me to go grocery shopping? Great point. However, the market offers tons of restaurants and places to grab a quick snack. Here's our 4 favorites. You may not know this, but a trip to Philly isn't complete without a bite into a soft, twisted pretzel. Miller's Twist will provide you with the perfect homemade chewy pretzel brushed with butter. Ever heard of the Pennsylvania Dutch? Stop by Dutch Eating Place for an apple dumpling or cinnamon French toast. Grab some donuts and other delicious sweets from Byler's Bakery. Or go all in at Tommy DeNick's and get their famous roast pork sandwich. Great, now I'm hungry. Let's get back on track. Alright, here's a simple one. Walk off those salty pretzels a few blocks west to the heart of Center City at Love Park. Here you'll find Robert Indiana's 1970 love sculpture which overlooks the plaza. Across from Philadelphia City Hall, this park makes for a great rest stop for your city adventure, providing lots of space for grassy lawns, chairs, and benches. And homeless people. If it's hot out, let the kids play around a fountain and catch the alluring view down Benjamin Franklin Parkway towards Logan Square. Also, running from Thanksgiving through Christmas Eve, the park transforms into Christmas Village, a daily outdoor holiday market selling all sorts of giftable items. Okay, fine, we'll talk about it. Typically, we don't mention art museums, every city has one and you know where to find them. But Philly has a special one, simply named the Philadelphia Museum of Art. This is of course the iconic setting in the film Rocky, where Rocky ran up the East Entrance steps, making the museum one of the most famous and recognizable movie locations. The museum itself is incredible, from its astounding architecture from the exterior to the stunning art pieces within. In front of the museum, you'll find various fountains and statues, including everyone's favorite, the Rocky statue. Have more time? Take a stroll behind the museum and check out the Treehouse in the Sky, Azalea Garden, or Boathouse Row, a scenic riverside site of historic boathouses from the 1800s. But definitely check out the Rocky Steps. Nothing beats people watching everyone reenact that classic Rocky scene. Before we move on to the nature section, let's bring on a local to see what kind of tourist destinations they have in mind. Today, we'll be talking to Bryce Isaiah, a Philly native who was a contestant on Survivor and hosts the Purple Pants podcast. So let's transfer on over and see what Bryce has in store for us today. Hey Bryce, how's it going? Thanks for joining me today.
Hey Jacob, thanks so much for having me and covering the great city of brotherly love. You know how Philly does.
So today I'm in the middle of the tour section of the video and we got a lot of good suggestions, but we just want to get a local on here and see what the other places you might have in mind for us.
So if you come to Philadelphia as a tourist, I think, a lot of people are like, oh, we got to get a cheesesteak from Pat's or Geno's, which you really don't have to. But there are so much that the city has to offer. There is Eastern State Penitentiary, which is located in our Fairmount section of Philadelphia. Some say it's the first penitentiary ever, but it is really historic in how it's built. It's huge. It's one of the first penitentiaries to ever have running water and heat, but we're not talking about criminal justice reform on this video, but it's really great. They do tours around Halloween. And that was the biggest thing, was that, like, you know, they do a haunted house type of festival where you get to pay tickets and go and walk through. But more recently, they've opened up tours regularly all year round. So you can get an amazing tour of the penitentiary to see what it looks like inside. And this summer, they have offered nighttime tours. So you get to see the sun setting. They've transformed their baseball field into like a beer garden. So, I mean, how many times in your life can you say you've been in Philadelphia in a penitentiary having a beer?
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Is there anything else you could recommend? One more spot you have time for?
I definitely love Kelly Drive in the, again, Fairmount section of the city. It's really close to the art museum and it sits along Boathouse Row. And it's just really great to, if you wanted a picnic, if you wanted to take your kids out for a walk, you can literally walk Kelly Drive. And on the opposite end of Kelly Drive is East River Drive, which kind of mimics Kelly Drive. It just doesn't have the Boathouse Row on it. And on the weekends, some Sundays, maybe like 2 Sundays a month, they will literally like close East River Drive down and you can somewhat see the skyline and people, romantic dates, picnics, letting the kids just run, or if you're a people watcher like myself, you can just kind of walk along and see all of the great people in the city. It's beautiful. So I think it's one of Philly's hidden gems.
Well, Bryce, thanks again, and I'll see you later.
Absolutely. Enjoy Philly.
If you want to check out more of Bryce's content, I'll put all of his stuff down in the description below. All right, time for some outdoor love. Just north of the city, along the Schuylkill River, you'll find a few thousand acres of Philadelphia's finest nature, Wissahickon Valley Park. Come and enjoy rolling hills, meadows, relaxing waterfronts, and shaded woodlands. The park houses miles of trails, including the George North Loop. This 5.4-mile loop will just about take you everywhere in the park. On this trail, you'll encounter Thomas Mill Covered Bridge, the statue of Teddy Ussung, multiple waterfalls and bridges, and a restaurant. The historic Valley Green Inn is a great place to stop for a drink and snack mid-hike. We haven't been on many trails that have a restaurant lodged in the middle of it, so we'd take advantage of it if we were you. Just 20 minutes northeast from downtown, you'll find 9 miles of woodlands, meadows, and fields at Pennypack Park. Follow the paved and unpaved trails parallel with Pennypack Creek and take a hike or ride a bike. Visitors will also find numerous historic buildings here, including a working farm. The 8.4-mile Pennypack North Trail will guide you through most of the park, with multiple detours to get a closer look deeper in the woods. You'll also come across Kings Highway Bridge at Frankfort Avenue, which is the oldest stone bridge still in use in the United States today. Let's mix up some nature and history for a moment and visit a National Historical Park, the old Revolutionary War site of Valley Forge. Valley Forge is nationally significant as the site of the 1777-78 winter encampment of the Continental Army under General George Washington. Ever heard of him? Here, soldiers would train and recoup from the year's battles and have an advantage over British attack. Today, we're lucky enough to visit and participate in trolley and ranger-led tours and miles of trails through significant American history. Stop by the National Memorial Arch, which stands 60 feet high and is probably the park's most recognizable symbol, or conquer Mount Misery, Chapel Path, and Mount Joy Trail, all in a 7.5-mile loop. And you'll learn more history on this hike than I did taking this information from Wikipedia. Oh, don't tell anybody. Our next destination is insane. Honestly, we haven't covered anything quite like this. Just an hour west of Philadelphia is basically one of the coolest gardens in the world, Longwood Gardens. The land on which Longwood Gardens stands was home to the native Lenni Lenape tribe and the Quaker farmers. And after a deep history of highs and lows, the garden evolved into the magnificent site we have today. Come by and visit this enchanting campus, brimming with a vast collection of vibrant flower gardens, breathtaking fountain displays, and greenhouses. But we didn't drive an hour out just to walk around some plants. Stop by the beer garden and grab a pint and some bar food. Or get fancy at 1906 and indulge yourself with fresh seasonal American cuisine with a focus on locally sourced and sustainable ingredients. And trust us when we say that there's plenty more to do here. Just make sure to check out their website for reservations. Alright, we have one more place to discuss. But real quick, let's bring Bryce back and see if he has any nature spots to recommend. Hey Bryce, just had to have you back one more time. We are at the end of the nature section and we gotta just know what's a good local spot.
For nature, Philadelphia is thriving with it, but there is a special arboretum called the Morris Arboretum that is so special to me. I went there in 3rd grade and have forever been turned on to it. I love the sculptures in the gardens. It's really great. Different styles of gardens, trees, and plants. It's amazing to take your kids. They would have so much fun, and I always just love to support things like the Arboretum in Philadelphia because it doesn't get as much attention as other main attractions. So it's always good to just support local and support things that are really good for the environment. So the Morris Arboretum is something that is amazing.
Nailed it. Well, thanks again for your time today, Bryce, and we'll see you later.
Absolutely.
Okay. This last nature destination is even more uncommon than the garden, because we're gonna go hang out on top of a parking garage. Yep, you heard that right. It's called Cira Green, and it's a park located 100 feet above the ground on top of a concrete structure, hence the nickname Philadelphia's Park in the Sky. This attraction offers breezy lounge space, a dog park, food, drinks, and events. Events like happy hour, movies in the park, recreational classes, and plenty more. If you're in town for a few days and get lucky with a cool sunny day, you must take the time to visit for a memorable chill session with perfect skyline views. And last time we checked, this place is completely free to visit. And you know what else is free? An audiobook from Audible when you click our link in the description below. We personally find it hard to take the time to sit down and physically read a book, but at the same time, we love books, learning, and diving into various topics, especially when researching a new destination. We can imagine some of you feel the same and want to fit books into your busy lives. Audible is the perfect solution with basically the whole world of audiobooks and podcasts right in your ears at all times. Audible offers 30 days for free and a free book, and if you cancel, they even let you keep the book. So please go to www.audibletrial.com/venture or click the link in the description and try it out. It's one of the main ways we make money with our videos, so even if you don't like the service and cancel, know that you've helped support us without spending a dime, and you get a free book out of it. Once again, audibletrial.com/venture, or click the link in the description. Now, let's get back into it. Alright, it's time to talk about places to eat. And yes, we know what you're thinking. Cheesesteaks. Yes, nothing beats a town with a signature dish. And Philadelphia is obviously the place to try a Philly cheesesteak. Of course, in Philly, they just call it cheesesteak. That's a joke. Actually, I'm not sure. Anyway, you're a tourist, you're hungry, and you want to know where to get the best cheesesteak in Philly. Clearly, the debates are heated, and the answer is subjective. But here at Venture Addicts, we're going to recommend John's Roast Pork. While their claim to fame may be their roast pork sandwich, you'll have to plan a second visit because you need to try the Philly Ultimate Cheesesteak, a crusty seeded roll from Essen Bakery stuffed with savory, thinly sliced beef, onions, and melted cheese. This is culture at its finest. If you're like us, you'll grab a bag of Utz or Hershey chips and add them in for that extra crunch. Look, there's not really much else to say here. It's a sandwich packed with delicious goodness, and we can almost guarantee that you're gonna love it. Around the city, you'll find all kinds of variations for the signature sub. We're talking chicken cheesesteaks, vegan cheesesteaks, hell, even pizza cheesesteaks. But what about $130 cheesesteaks no one asked ever? Well, you can make the most questionable financial decision of your life when you order this prolific sandwich at Barclay Prime. Wagyu beef ribeye, foie gras, onions, and truffle cheese whiz on a fresh baked sesame roll served with a half bottle of champagne. It's $130. You can't just give away the whole bottle. Anyway, this is a real thing on a real menu in a real restaurant. So if you're looking for somewhere to splurge in Philly, this is definitely the place to check out. Speaking of expensive food, come and enjoy cozy new American cooking at Chef Greg Vernick's nationally recognized Vernick Food and Drink. People are paying top dollar to experience Philadelphia's most energetic restaurant. Enjoy inspired plates like their charcoal grilled black sea bass, or get a smorgasbord of small plates like Arctic charcuterie and fromage blanc toast. If you didn't understand what I just said, it's okay, I didn't either. Just ask the waiter what's good and keep an open mind. Vernick Food and Drink has been recognized by the likes of numerous publications, and Greg himself was named the best chef mid-Atlantic by the James Beard Foundation. Just don't forget to plan your special night in advance because this place gets booked. Our country may have an iffy history with the British, like we mentioned earlier, but we're cool now. So come on down to the Dandelion and get a taste of UK culture. Dine in at an intimate bar or one of their cozy Victorian-style rooms, all furnished with an assortment of different chairs and tables and engaging wall decor. But people don't just come for the warm ambience. The menu pays homage to your classic British pub, serving modern takes on UK cuisine. Lamb shepherd's pie, fish and chips, deviled eggs, the list goes on. Or keep it light and come for afternoon tea, served with finger sandwiches and pastries. This place is so authentic you may just pay in quid. Every restaurant covered so far has been pretty impressive, but we're suckers when it comes to Japanese restaurants, and Double Knot is the place to be. On the surface, you'll find a charming coffee shop and cafe, but below that lies a secret nautical-themed izakaya. I don't know why I made that sound so sinister. Down in Double Knot's sushi dungeon lies some pretty delicious grub. Edamame dumplings, short rib robataki, duck scrapple bao buns, and we can't forget their list of sushi rolls. The atmosphere is fun, dimly lit, and intimate, with melting wax candles and an overall hip vibe. Just don't forget to visit them online to get some info on their happy hour and reservations. Israelis may not have a large population in Philadelphia, but they absolutely dominate the food scene, thanks to Cook and Solo's restaurant empire and their flagship restaurant, Zahav. This place puts the rich melting pot of Israeli cuisine at the forefront of dining in America today. Start with some of the best hummus you'll ever have, then end with a plate of tender pomegranate lamb shoulder. Star chef Mike Solomonov and Steve Cook operate a number of outstanding eateries throughout the city, like Federal Donuts, the hometown hero donut, fried chicken, and coffee shop, Dizengoff, an authentic Israeli-style hummusiya, or Goldie, a vegan and kosher falafel shop. And yes, there's plenty more. Together, this duo makes quite a list of restaurants to pick from, but we're sure whichever one you pick will definitely satisfy you. Looking for a brunch hotspot? We don't think you're gonna find French Lebanese influenced dishes at an IHOP. So start your day off at Café La Maude. Grab a cup of joe, brewed with local roastery La Colombe coffee, and fill your face with savory Lebanese home-cooked meals. Go with something familiar, like the sweet potato beni, or get cultural with their signature green shashuka. Sauteed onions, peppers, and other veggies, drizzled with carrot tahini sauce, along with 2 eggs over easy and a toasty baguette. Or how about the ghost chicken cordon bleu? It's a waffle stuffed with fried chicken, ham, and other delicious ingredients, topped with scrambled eggs and cream sauce with a side of fried potatoes. Come here during the weekdays to avoid the crazy weekend crowds. For the last restaurant on our list, let's keep it simple and grab some pizza at Pizzeria Beddia. Owner Joe Beddia says locals call him the Pizza Jesus, and you'll find his compact brick storefront in Philly's Fishtown neighborhood. Start with their tomato pie, a beloved regional specialty in Philadelphia, or some salty and savory Cantabrian anchovies. But what's up with the pizza? Pizza's so good that Bon Appetit called it the best pizza in America back in 2015? That's quite an accolade. Order the Angry Pizza, which includes spicy arrabbiata sauce and serrano peppers. Then cool it all down with some espresso or sweet cream soft serve. Looking back at this list, you may realize that pretty much every restaurant recommended is a bit on the pricey side. So for our locals and frequent visitors watching, do our friends a favor and comment down below some more low-key and cheaper places to eat. Much appreciated. Before we transition to our last section, we need to talk coffee, and we'll actually recommend 2 places today, starting with Elixr Coffee Roasters. Honestly, there's no gimmick here. We just love a spacious shop with great choices and a cool vibe. Hand-poured coffee, seasonal drinks, and classic coffee shop snacks. This is a no-brainer for getting your caffeine fix in Philadelphia. Looking for something less trite? How about a little Jewish pastry shop in South Philly called Essen Bakery? Chef Tova Duplessis creates food reflecting her heritage, like her best-selling chocolate halva babka, a delicious sweet braided bread. Funny enough, Essen brews their coffee beans from the place we just mentioned, Elixr Coffee Roasters. And even more funny enough, she made her move to Philly to work for Mike Solomonov at the aforementioned restaurant Zahav before opening her bakery. So if you're looking for some coffee and sweets, this place won't disappoint. Let's move over to dessert. And once again, we have 2 places to tell you about. Our first spot follows another classic Philly tradition that's been around for over a century, and you can try it for yourself at Siddiq's Real Fruit Water Ice. Water ice is an iconic frozen summer treat, firmer than a slushie, softer than sorbet, and smoother than granita. Many locals swear by it, and Siddiq's is the place to get your water ice. In 1995, Siddiq Moore revolutionized the water ice industry by infusing 100% real fruit into his product, establishing his well-known brand. They also offer ice cream, funnel cake, pretzels, and more. Looking for something sweeter? Head back towards the city to Little Italy, where you'll find Rim Cafe, an eclectic cafe known for its elaborate hot chocolate beverages. Each of their drinks becomes a show as you watch them personally make your volcano hot chocolate, guaranteeing a pure sugar high. But it's not all about the drinks. There's cannolis, gelato, and plenty of other fabulous desserts. As one local stated, be prepared to experience a show. The sun is setting and it's time to knock one back. And what better place than Bok Bar? Ever wanted to drink with your friends on the roof of a high school with a great skyline view? Now you can. Unfortunately, they're largely reservation only and open seasonally. But in 2021, they plan to stay open for 30 weeks, featuring over 100 events and pop-ups. They offer great beer and wine options, but don't carry any liquor. If you're looking for a bar just to walk in, sit down, and order a drink, you'll have to keep watching. Bok Bar really likes to change things up every year and will keep you on your toes. So check out their site for more information. Alright, that last place was kinda overwhelming, but it did look super cool. But how about we just go to the oldest drinking tavern in the city, McGillin's Old Ale House. They opened in 1860, a year before Abraham Lincoln became president, and continue to pour brews for locals and tourists till this day. Their beer hall has rows of long picnic tables and is considered one of the best spots to catch the game. The walls are covered with old tiled subway signs and every liquor license the establishment has held since 1871. You'll also find dozens of beers and taps, including some McGillin's exclusives. Stop by here for a taste of history. Haven't stopped by the Liberty Bell yet? Well, a stone's throw away, you'll find an expansive 20,000 square foot all-American space at Independence Beer Garden. The venue is covered in greenery, has rows of tables, and serves fun picnic menu options of traditional American dishes, ideal for sharing in an amazing open-air environment. Typically, you'll find ping pong tables, cornhole, and other lawn games, perfect for a beer garden outing, and a variety of drinks for anyone to enjoy, like craft beers, fruity cocktails, frozen drinks, and more. So come get your buzz on across the street from the place where the country was literally created. You won't regret it. Thought that hidden sushi dungeon at Double Knot was cool? How about a bar with a subterranean bowling alley? Well, you'll find it at Harp Crown. I don't know how it's possible, but they managed to make this space feel both sophisticated yet comfortable at the same time. Perhaps it's the gorgeous upstairs dining room with the ample seating, vintage decor, and a wraparound bar, all within this reworked warehouse. And down below lies Elbow Lane, a somewhat secret cocktail lounge, complete with its own bar and bowling alley. Still hungry? Grab some small plates like their lamb meatballs or go all in with the chef's tasting menu. This is one of those places that makes Philadelphia a premier player when it comes to the nightlife landscape. Well, we made it to the end. Why not celebrate with a frosty beer? Don't worry, we know a spot. It's a nice casual place called Evil Genius Beer Company. Come and enjoy this spacious brick-walled bar with lots of booths, chairs, and sofas for chillin'. There's no secret underground rooms here, just some extra outdoor space and tons of beer. The Fishtown Craft Brewery is home to some local favorites with some funny names, like the Purple Monkey Dishwasher Porter, Stacy's Mom IPA, and our favorite, the I Love Lamp Pineapple Hefeweizen.
I love lamp.
So whether you're looking for a gratifying glass of wine, a farmhouse ale, or an overpriced cocktail, we guarantee you'll find it at one of these places. Don't agree? Comment your suggestions down below and let us know your go-tos. Philadelphia clearly makes an incredible destination, from its eventful history to its beautiful parks and awesome bar and restaurant scene. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and comment down below which destination we should do next. Before you go, we make our living creating free content and resources for you, and it's made possible by viewers supporting us through sponsors like Audible. If you sign up for a free trial through our link, audibletrial.com/venture, you'll get any audiobook of your choosing for free, and we'll get a small commission so we can keep making entertaining videos. If you end up canceling your membership, it costs you nothing, and you get to keep the audiobook. So at the end of the day, you could get a free audiobook, support us, and not even have to pay anything if you try it out through our link. Our current favorite title is Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss, which was just released in audiobook form. It's all about the habits and rituals of some of the world's most successful people. So if you wouldn't mind, go get a free book through our link. It helps more than you know, and we very much appreciate it.